I'm going to talk very quickly about the quasi-Monte Carlo settings inside of the materials. So we double click here and create a new material. You'll see under the illumination panel that we have numerous sampling modes: normal, oversampling, QMC sampling, which is quasi-Monte Carlo sampling, and per pixel QMC sampling. Now, these are going to take effect in two ways. One, as a GI portal when we have the transparency enabled, and we can check GI portal. It's great for getting additional lighting from an exterior source, and they can take effect also as luminance, additional samplage for like an illuminated plane. So to quickly show you what I'm rambling about, I'm going to create a real small scene here. Get this 3 segments by 3 segments. I'm just going to quickly take a hole here, right click, and split that object away from my solution. So I cut that away, I'm going to put it back, and we'll call this our light source. Just to get a little bit funky with the shape, give it a few nooks and crannies to work with. We can also pull back a little bit so we've got some room to see what's going on inside this shot. What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly fly inside, take all my polygons and reverse the normals. And a camera so we don't lose track of where we are. And I'm going to apply my luminance material. It's a simple, straightforward luminance, no specular needed. I'm going to apply it to the light source. Now inside of the render settings, I'm going to add a global illumination effect. And my standard test settings would be a diffuse depth of about 2 or 3. No gamma changes needed right now. No del UK at home needed right now either. Stochastic samples, I'm going to change those down to about 10% accuracy. And the record density is another important setting. I'm just going to make that preview. I also don't want to waste any time looking at such a big scene, so I'm just going to reduce it here, and we do our render test inside of this window. So we can see that this light portal is not giving off a great deal of good GI at the moment. So we want to go ahead and increase the brightness to around 1000%. Now, the alternative to that is to leave the brightness where it was, and in the illumination settings we can generate more GI. So change it to 1000. It's about the equivalent of changing the strength, but you maintain, if there's an image inside there, some of the quality of that image. We don't want to go. Actually, we can't turn an image into 1000%. We can only go ahead and work with the GI strength. So enough for that. Here's what happens. Just boost it up a little more. That's about the illumination strength I want to see. So you can see it's okay. Doesn't really give off any nice shadows. It's not quite got the depth feel that we'd like to see. So we could change the sampling mode from normal to oversampling and see what we get. Not much of a difference. And we can try and work with the QMC sampling, and you will definitely notice a difference. You should have noticed a difference. Let's see. Let's work with per pixel QMC sampling. And this time I promise you will see a big difference. Now you have noise in these samples here, but what you're working with is essentially an area light source. It's this illumination panel, or luminance panel, has been calculated now on a per pixel basis, which is giving us a lot more kind of quality area shadow fall offs on these edges here. And if we were to perhaps increase that a little more, give an additional bounce or two, you'll see that light will come back off these walls and bounce back onto this one, which is what we would really like to see. There we go. So from a single light source we have a fair fairly nicely illuminated room. It's nothing spectacular. We could boost it up with material or two, and let's just find something like this that we can drop inside, and just see how it looks with like a wooden material. We could even give it the wood itself a little blurry reflection and see how that goes. And it's definitely going to slow things down because we are using blurriness in our samples now, so it's going to probably take about twice as long. And I'm also noticing as this renders that we are definitely going to need to probably compensate with a little bit more illumination. We're not getting quite what we wanted to see, so we can go back in to our white material and go as high as 5,000. There's really no limit here to how high we can go. We can just do a little test line and make sure it's not too much. That looks to be about perfect. Let me just render that whole thing and I'll go right back. So as this piece is finishing up, you can see that the light source now is certainly taking care of the illumination in the room. It's a very simple technique. It's actually kind of time consuming based on the sampling mode that we're using, but if it's going to be work that you're doing for stills, it's a very useful thing that you can use. It has more than one application. And I've attached the scene to this file, and if you want to take a quick look at the scene, use it however you will, well, enjoy. Thanks a lot.